All right. This is my first time ever doing one of these, so hopefully the format works for people and it flows good. If there's anything at the end of the video you think I could do better as far as the track guide goes, please let me know. I'm also running a custom setup I've made. If you want to find that, check the description of the video. I'll have a link to my Discord, and that's where I'll post setups. I might make a couple tweaks to what I'm running before the season starts, but I'm pretty happy with the baseline I got. But with that out of the way, we are going to do a track guide for Snetterton 200 in the BMW M2 CS for the PCC season coming up. Again, like I said, please bear with me. This is my first time doing this, and I'm sure as the season goes on, I'll get a little more efficient at this. But let's first hop in the car, make sure everything's working, and make sure. I have been having some issues with the race labs with the telemetry being a little stuttery and janky. I might change software, but I just don't have enough time to change that, figure that out before the season starts, and I want to get this up and posted so people have time to practice. I actually did record this, or attempted to record this earlier today, but was driving in the baseline setup and not the setup I built. So I was struggling getting up to speed and getting a little frustrated that I couldn't achieve the same lap time. Which baseline setup I could do mid 1 minute 17s, but my setup I could do a little quicker, and I think the car just feels better overall. But we're gonna take a couple slow reconnaissance laps, look at the track. I'm gonna go over each corner. We're only talking 8 corners, so this is turn 1. I'm gonna come back to it next time around since we just came out pit road, but we'll start heading over to turns 2 and 3. You should pretty much be 4th gear coming off of turn 1. You might get up to 5th here. I like to start braking between these two signboards, so right about here, right just before the Wilson sign. It looks like they got slashes on the number boards. I do not like that. I wish they would just put numbers, but whatever. So yeah, between these two signboards is usually where I get on the brakes. Pretty straightforward, just straight line braking, a little bit of trail braking into the corner. You'll go down all the way to 2nd. This corner here, turn 2, you want to keep off the curb. It just really upsets the car. You want to hug it, but you don't want to hit it. Now, coming right here to turn 3, this is more than likely where you're going to gain the most incident points if you're really pushing. Essentially, you're going to want to get the wheel to straighten out with the throttle as you're coming off turn 2. The problem is you have to immediately go from right to left. So you got to be kind of careful. You want to straighten this up as much as possible, but you don't want to get a 1X or a course cutting. The line I just took there seems to work. The weight of the car is going to dump though. So all that weight is loaded up on the left side. You turn left, it dumps to the right. Really want to be careful with that. It will cause the car to spin out. Usually after a lap or 2, it's not an issue, but that is kind of a danger zone. And this is just notes on how to drive the car by itself. Obviously, traffic's going to play a factor in PCC, but pretty straightforward. We got a straightaway here. Turn 4 and 5 are deceptively tricky. On its own, I'm sure you could take turn 4 a lot faster than what I take it at. The problem is you got to set up for turn 5 to get the best run off into 6 and 7. So typically around this point is where I actually start to angle to the apex before I get on the brakes. You're going to be running 5th or 6th there. You're going to angle to it. You're going to get on the brakes in a straight line. And then as you get to this point here is when you'll start to lift off the brake and kind of dance the car around. You want to stick to the left as much as possible. Got my phone buzzing here. Sorry. You're going to want to stick to the left as far as possible because essentially at this point, you're then going to crank it to the right to get the best exit off. Again, you don't want to hit this curb, but you want to get as close to it as possible. In this corner here is third gear once you're up to speed. When I first started doing laps, I was dropping down to second. Realistically, you only need second in turn 2. Bomb hole or turn 6, pretty straightforward. You're just going to let off the throttle. You shouldn't have to apply any brakes. The car does go into kind of a hole here, or a valley. Just want to get off the throttle, turn in, let the compression do the work. As the car comes out of the hole, you want to wait to get back to the throttle a little bit. Again, it's a little deceptive because as that car comes out of that hole, you lose grip, and there's just a little bit of patience you have to find there. But obviously you're going to want to track it out wide on exit. You're going to get to 4th, maybe even 5th here. And turn 7, I really like it, but it's tricky. I would say you really kind of have 4 phases of the corner. So if you look on the inside here on, I'm going to back up a bit. If you look at the inside here up on the left, or sorry, the right, it's been a long day. You'll notice that there is just a white line and some grass. That's entry, that's stage 1. Then you get to small red and white curbing. Again, stage 2. Then you get to the bigger red and white curbing. By the time you get to the red and white curbing, the bigger curbing, is when you want to start to make sure you're sucked into the inside for this corner. And then you get to the poles, which I'm going to call stage 4. By the time you get to the third to last set of poles, you want to really start to be getting down to 4th gear. And then I say here, 3rd gear. And then by the time you get to this set of poles, you want to have the car perfectly straight. Again, because it's such a long sweeping right-hander, all that weight is shifted over to the left. So as that turn kind of winds down, you want to have the weight centered here before turn 8. The problem is if all the weight's loaded up to the left and then you make this corner, it just dumps all the weight to the right and you're going to risk spinning out. But this corner, kind of the same as turn number 2 and turn number 5. You want to get close to the curb. You don't want to hit it. Then you want to get a just good straight run off down the straightaway. So hopefully that makes some sense. We're going to get down to turn 1 here. I'll kind of go over my attack on turn 1. Then we'll do just a couple quick laps, get heat in the tires. I'll talk about what to expect lap time wise. And then hopefully I'll put a good fast lap in and you'll have my telemetry to look. Turn 1 is a deceptive turn, just like the rest of the turns on this track. Typically I start braking, I think maybe a little bit early, right around the 2 board. And the real reason why is it's kind of a very shallow entry. You look like you have a lot of space, but the track quickly goes off camber. So I really try to brake and aim towards the curbing on the right. Now, on the right, you're going to find 2 weird spots in the curbing. And you can actually kind of visibly see it here. So you'll see where the curbing kind of jets out there. There's a bump there. And there's a bump further ahead that does the same thing. Now, this entire valley or section of curb in between those is really at a V and really kind of a valley. In my opinion, when you hit turn 1 right, you want to just barely miss the entry curb, but before you get to, or the entry bump, before you get to the exit bump, you want to have the car tracking out wide. It's kind of, think of it as like 2 points in that arc you could kind of use to reference the radius you're taking. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm starting to kind of gain a little bit of speed here and turn the sim down a little in my ear. Yeah, no, 2nd gear through here. You want to straighten this up with the throttle and the wheel. The car's going to want to dance. The setup I'm posting to Discord, if it's a little uncomfortable, go to 1 on the rear ARB. I'm running 2 because I like the back to be free and to rotate. However, If it's just too much for you, don't be scared. Change that rear AR or ARB, and it might not be as quick overall, or maybe it's not as quick for me, but you want consistency and comfort. So just one thing to kind of keep in mind. But yeah, let me try to get some heat in the tires. Typically I could get around minute 18, minute 17 and a half on my first lap when tires are still a little cold, but it is sketchy. Usually about lap 4 or 5 is where the tires really feel comfortable to me. So yeah, the back of the car is free there, but that'll go away a little bit as the tires come up to temp. Car dances a little bit there, center off. So I'm just gonna kind of shut up for a minute, get into a rhythm. You can hopefully watch the lines I take, and we'll aim for a decent lap here, and hopefully this is helpful. This turn you really gotta have to dance with the throttle and brake. It is deceptive there. You are better off taking that corner in third gear. But if you have to just get down to second to feel comfortable, by all means, that's a good starting point. That's what I was running. Oh, and a mistake there for me. I went in too deep. The way turn 1 falls away, if you miss the mark, you're going to go wide. It's best to just abort it if you feel like that's the situation. I'm not sure how it's going to work out in PCC with traffic. I think the straightaways are going to be your main passing zones, and then the other corners you just got to sit and wait. So trying to, if you see you're catching somebody before a couple corners, just be mindful. You got to make it to the end of the race to finish the race. But yeah, I'm gonna shut up like I said I was, and let me try to get a couple decent laps in, and then a hot lap. Just because I hit both bumps into one tells me I was a little timid. I could have carried a little more speed in and a little more speed off. So not a hot lap, but I felt like that was a pretty decent lap. The tires are feeling good, so let's really get after it here.
That was your fastest lap of the session.
A little slow through there. I feel like I gave up a little time, but all in all, feels like a decent lap. So far. All right, it was too aggressive on entry there. That's going to hurt this lap. A little early to third there. And I didn't have the car straightened out enough before turn 8, so I really lost speed on exit. But so far, I think that should be a 16.8. So not horrible. I know I could do better. So that was better on the second half, but worse on the first half of the lap. Let's try it one more time, then we'll end the video. I would say first half of the lap felt pretty good there. We're on track for a pretty quick lap. Still try to carry a little bit too much speed there in 8. But I think that's not horrible. Hopefully you can kind of see what I was doing there. We ended with a 16.1 or a 16.08. So hopefully that was helpful to you. Again, check out the Discord for the setup. If you have any questions on anything, let me know. I might make some last minute tweaks. I feel like I'm pretty happy with where it's at. As far as lap times go, I feel like I think a 16.6 I think is the best I've done, with a 16.4 as my optimum. It is challenging to talk and drive, and when you know you're recording yourself, you got to kind of perform. This corner here I think is really probably going to be one of the more dangerous corners, because you can carry so much speed in, but you shouldn't. But yeah, no, thank you for watching. Check out the Discord for the setup. If you like this, obviously like the video, comment if you want to help the algorithm out, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these. And yeah, thank you for watching. Check the description of the video for all the extra information. I also want to note track temp was 66 Fahrenheit. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and good luck in your races.